Matthew 3:11 and 12 is a comparison between John's water baptism and the baptism that was coming, Jesus's baptism. See, John's baptism is about people turning away from sin, changing their minds, and beginning to follow Jesus. But Jesus's baptism is all about separating his children from the rest of the world. See, John uses the analogy of burning the chaff off of wheat. It's the separating of the holy from the unholy, the sheep from the wolves. In other words, John's baptism was a metaphor or an illustration of the real baptism that was coming, Jesus's baptism. One of the verses that I get asked about a lot is Mark 16:16, where Jesus says, anyone who believes and is baptized will be saved. So people say, wait, I've got to be baptized to be saved? And the answer is yes, but not baptism like you think of it, not baptism in water. In Mark 16, Jesus is talking about the baptism that water baptism is meant to illustrate. It's the second baptism that John the Baptist talked about. Jesus' baptism is salvation. It's what adopts us into his family, his big multi-ethnic family. In Mark, how does Jesus say that we get baptized? By believing. That's why we constantly tell people that water baptism doesn't save anyone. Water baptism is a symbol of the spiritual baptism that happens when people put their faith in Jesus, a symbol of salvation. So the question is, have you been baptized? Number one, have you been baptized into Jesus' baptism? Have you been saved? And number two, have you done a water baptism to show the world that you have been saved? I think you should. It's a way that we share our faith with the world. It's a testimony that says, hey, Jesus saved me. He gave me new life. So if you haven't been baptized in water, would you pray about doing it? And if you have been baptized, would you pray that God will continue to remind you of the commitment that you made when you put your faith in Jesus?